Hi, Maple Grove families. Principal Kim Tierney here. Want to deliver some information to you in preparation for tomorrow's big day in which students arrive here at Maple Grove Elementary. I want to give you just a little bit of information regarding arrival and dismissal so you can feel ultimately prepared in dropping and entrusting your children off with us tomorrow morning and picking them up tomorrow evening. And moving forward here, arrival is at 8:20 for students only eating breakfast. Otherwise, we're asking that students enter at 8:35 a.m. That's the point when all students can enter the building. At 8:50 is when our first tardy bell rings, so it's important that students are here by that time. We do ask that parents refrain from dropping off their children prior to 8:35, and this is especially important this year because those students are not going to be able to come into the building until that first bell rings at 8:35. So if they're dropped off at 8:20 without eating breakfast or even earlier, we sometimes have kids dropped off earlier, they're just going to be waiting outside, and we don't want kids to group. And so it's important that you refrain from dropping them off before that time. Additionally, we don't have supervision until 8:35, so it's incredibly important that those students are safe and that you're not dropping them off prior to 8:35. Of course, unless they're eating breakfast. This is an aerial view of our building. And so for those of you that are new, maybe kindergarten parents, typically parents line up on 98th Street. Sometimes it'll go down past Chalk. Sometimes it'll wrap around Chalk. That's pretty much to be expected. And I assume there will be more people dropping children off this year than previously, simply because of the bus situation. So I would expect to get here, get ready to drop off, and this traffic will move through here in a counterclockwise direction. Essentially, right through here, drop off will be located along here. I've got some specifics regarding that, but I wanted to give you the aerial view first so that you can kind of know what to expect regarding our building. This part up here, we avoid driving in there if you're dropping children off because this is reserved for bus traffic, and that will stay the same this year. So in terms of specifics, so this yellow area is for drop off and pickup. So again, buses are reserved on the north side of the building, so please do not enter or exit that side of the building. It's also noted that this is a fire lane during the day, and parents should not be dropping off or picking up there. They should park and walk across. Parents who drop off and pick up their students pull along this west lot. It's important that you remain in your vehicle. That's incredibly important because based on the efficiency of our parent drop off and pickup, it helps when families are staying in the car. If everybody got out of their car to unload their child, we'd have a complete mess on our hands, and it would take far too long to do that in an expedited fashion. So we ask you to stay in your car. Move your students on the passenger side of the car so that they can get out in a timely fashion. We'll be there to help. We can open doors and even unbuckle or help support those younger kiddos, those kindergarten students that are coming in as well. So just know that we're here to support or provide as much support as needed. If you choose to park, just know that you can park and walk your child across, but children are never allowed to walk across that area without an adult. We just don't allow it. So it's very important that if you park, you're walking your child across. When you move over here to this area, if you are walking your child across during this year especially, we're just asking that you have a mask and that you are ensuring that you're providing proper physical distance between you and others within that same space. Again, this is primarily just to ensure that all of our students are safe during this time. All right, at this time I want to talk dismissal. 3:40 p.m. is when dismissal happens every day, with the exception of the first 2 days for kindergarten, in which our students are dismissed 2 hours early at 1:40 p.m. Everything will resume as normal on Thursday for all students. Keep in mind, kindergarten families, those arrival times are also an hour later, those first 2 days only. At 3:40 p.m., that's when that bell rings and students are escorted outside. Keep in mind, in our handbook, it says that there's no supervision for children after 3:45. Of course, we're going to keep them safe. But it's also important to note that those folks that are out on duty during that time are likely teachers or associates in our building, and they also have evening activities to get to. So when you're late in picking up your child, you're possibly impacting the evening of another staff member here. So please be timely in your pickup. When thinking about parent pickup and drop off, I also just want to clarify we're going to have the same pickup drop off lanes that move in a counterclockwise direction as we typically do for all drop off and pickup procedures. However, one thing that's different this year is that instead of the yellow zone that typically was over here, we're going to have students lined up alphabetically by last name. So if you have siblings, if you have multiple children, siblings will be lined up together according to their last name. We have these awesome signs coming to us, but unfortunately, like many things, they're not arriving on time. And so they'll be here as soon as possible. In the meantime, you get some lovely orange cones, and I'll show you a picture of that in just a moment. But those students will be lined up in alphabetical order, starting with A through F, G, L, M, S, T, Z, all the way down this sidewalk. And we're going to properly socially distance them or physically distance them upon this sidewalk as well. We're hoping that it streamlines the process a little bit while also keeping kids safer and that they won't be in one small area, very tightly compacted. This is essentially what we have now. We've got cones set up. So these cones will replace those beautiful will be replaced by those beautiful flags in time. But at this point, that's the way the kids will be lined up. All right, families, that's it. We're so excited for tomorrow morning, in which we welcome all of your children back here to Maple Grove Elementary. We're thrilled. It's been a long road. It's been a long spring break, as we like to say, but we're absolutely thrilled. We've got layered mitigation in place to keep your children safe, and we couldn't be more excited for tomorrow morning, in which we welcome almost 550 students back here in person, as well as another 160 online. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.